Would you build your entire denomination and your entire teachings on a false prophet? Second question, was Ellen Gould White a false prophetess? I've already shown in 2 of my videos where she had predicted on at least 3 occasions the return of Jesus Christ, and it never happened. Those 3 predictions there already qualify her to be a false prophet. Date setting is not something that the Bible tells us to do. But yet on 3 different occasions, Ellen Gould White predicted the return of Jesus Christ, and it never happened. But there's another one that I want to bring up to you that will help you, hopefully help you to make up your mind about the question before you. Was Ellen Gould White a false prophet? During the Civil War, the generals were called together by Abraham Lincoln. The discussion was, how can we hasten an end to the Civil War? How can we, or what can we do to help end this war fast? This was toward the end of 1862. After much debate, Abraham Lincoln told his generals, the key to ending this war quickly is Vicksburg. Give me that key and the war will soon be over. Why was Vicksburg such an important part of the Civil War? Because it was the last stronghold on the Mississippi River. And if the Union soldiers could take Vicksburg, it would pretty much cut off supplies to the south. And that's why Abraham Lincoln called it a key to ending the Civil War. Let's go back and see what Ellen White had to say about the Civil War, though, and show you that she was indeed a false prophet. If you'll look at her book, Testimonies, Volume 1, and begin reading on page 250, you'll see where she starts talking about the Civil War, and about England, and about the United States, and about the North and South. On and on she goes for about 8 pages there, almost 9 pages, talking about the Civil War. And she gets toward the end of her discussion on the Civil War, and in Testimonies Volume 1, page 259, she makes this statement. A portion of the Queen's subjects are waiting a favorable opportunity to break their yoke. But if England thinks it will pay, she will not hesitate a moment to improve her opportunity to exercise her power and humble our nation. When England does declare war, all nations will have an interest in their own to serve, and there will be general war and general confusion. End quote. That is a direct quote from Testimonies Volume 1, page 259, where Ellen White is predicting that England would declare war against the United States of America. Of course, unless Seventh-day Adventists have history books that we're not aware of, we all know that England did not declare war against the United States of America during during the Civil War. Now, through the years, the Seventh-day Adventists have tried to explain these prophecies away. The failed prophecies of Ellen White, they've tried to find some way to explain them away. Let me tell you how they tried to explain this one away. Because there it is from her words in Testimonies, Volume 1, page 259. And here's how they try to explain that away. When she said that, this prophecy was based on conditions. Now here's what conditional prophecy is. You will see many times in the Old Testament where God would say, if you will do this, then I will do that. So that is a conditional prophecy. God will carry through with his part if we carry through with our part. And so what the Seventh-day Adventist scholars and theologians have tried to do is say, no, she wasn't making a direct prophecy here without conditions being placed on it. In other words, they're not denying she made this prophetic utterance. They're just saying it was a conditional prophecy. You begin reading on page 250 and read through 259. You'll see the entire article there in Testimonies Volume 1, where Ellen White is talking about the North and the South and the Civil War. Then she breaks out with England will attack or declare war against the United States. When you read those pages, there is absolutely no conditions whatsoever laid out by Ellen White. All she is doing is talking about the Civil War, about the North and about the South, about slavery and about this and about that. But nowhere in those 9 pages where she's talking about it does she lay any conditions whatsoever on England declaring war against the United States. But people who are not aware of that or have never read the testimony probably wouldn't know that. So that's why I'm making it known to you now. If you have a copy of it, or if you can get it online, get the testimonies, get volume 1, look at page 250, read through page 259, and you will see clearly that there was no conditions at all placed by Ellen White on England declaring war against the United States. None whatsoever. But that is how the Seventh-day Adventists try to explain that away to their people who may not know any better, who may not have never read it, and are just simply taking somebody's word for it without ever doing any research for themselves to find out if one of the founders of their church was a false prophetess. That is at least 4 there already that I've pointed out, on at least 3 occasions where she predicted the return of Christ, and now where she predicted that England would declare war against the United States. And they all failed. None of them came true. And to try to explain it away as though it was a conditional prophecy goes against what her own book says. Again, read it, page 250 through 259, and you will not see one condition there whatsoever. All she is simply doing is talking about the war, and then breaks out when England does declare war against the United States. So it seems kind of odd to me to build an entire denomination on a false prophetess. Until next time, this has been Golly saying, God bless.